Hello and welcome to my symposium presentation on cybersecurity in the UK. To start off, I kind of wanted to situate the topic of cybersecurity in the current situation that we find ourselves in, because it's something that we always need to be paying attention to. So here's something you probably haven't really thought about. The spread of COVID-19 has actually significantly increased the cyber risk that governments, companies, and individuals face. Cyber criminals feed on instability, and the current situation we find ourselves in right now is the ideal environment for hackers to thrive. A McKinsey & Company working study found the most common cyber attacks that are currently happening. The first one being people are overwhelmingly working from home and accessing sensitive company and customer data on personal devices, which usually don't have cyber secure features installed into them like they would in a office environment. Second, hackers are also posing as IT help staff employees, gaining access to people's passwords and other sensitive information over email exchanges. Third, hackers are embedding various kinds of malware into hastily created pandemic information websites and documents where users click on one wrong link or download a falsified document and they suddenly lose access to all data on their computer. Especially in times like this, it's very important that people become aware of the cyber risk that they face and how to best reduce the chance of a cyber attack from occurring. Now, how can somebody effectively reduce their cyber risk? Well, in today's cyber threat environment, to be safe from any cyber attack means governments and businesses must be what I call cyber resilient, the definition for which is here on screen. But what's important to note is being cyber secure no longer means just building a firewall around your networks and devices and hoping that it'll fend off cyber criminals. Rather, cybersecurity is, whether in a government department or in a business, needs to be managed dynamically and adapted as the threat environment changes. There are many moving parts to ensuring that an entire country is cyber resilient. Therefore, governments have a massive task ahead of them to ensure that their countries meet all criteria for being cyber resilient. Figuring out how to make all these things happen at once, though, is not an easy task, and it would probably help certain countries to have an example to follow. Therefore, for my honors thesis, I wanted to analyze a country's approach to cybersecurity and learn both from their mistakes and successes. I quickly found out that as far as cybersecurity goes, the UK is world leading. In fact, in 2018, they were ranked #1 by the UN's Global Cybersecurity Index. So what's so special about the way that the UK does things? Well, first of all, they have a dedicated 5-year national cybersecurity strategy, along with a £1.9 billion budget to support the projects and initiatives in this strategy. Therefore, I felt that the UK's current national cybersecurity strategy was the perfect document to analyze to understand what works well when building a national cybersecurity strategy and what doesn't. So to better understand this, I took the physical document as the basis for my study and expanded out from there. I started by reading the document to understand what the UK plans on doing and what it actually is doing to implement this strategy. I then took a deeper look into the various initiatives and projects mentioned in the document. I gathered statistics and qualitative evidence on these projects to demonstrate their effectiveness or lack thereof. The logos here on screen are just 3 examples of ongoing initiatives. Also, during my research process, I was lucky enough to receive the Party School Keeler Travel Grant, which allowed me to travel to the UK and conduct interviews on site with experts on various components of cybersecurity. These were particularly helpful to me because all my interviewers had very different views and expertise related to cybersecurity. For example, one of my interviewees was Professor Daniel Dresner, who teaches cybersecurity at the University of Manchester. He had a very technical and theoretical view of cybersecurity, whereas here on screen, I'm pictured with another interviewee, Brian Higgins, who has worked closely with UK law enforcement to build their cyber capabilities and reduce cybercrime. He was more of an expert on the physical implementation of cybersecurity measures. I then took all the information I gathered from my online research, combined it with the anecdotes from my interviews, and created a final research paper, which I'd be happy to share with anybody who's interested. However, looking at the UK's approach to cybersecurity, it was obvious to see why it was a world leader in cybersecurity governance. The first reason for that being in 2016, with the release of the National Cybersecurity Strategy, the UK created the National Cybersecurity Centre, or NCSC. The NCSC is a single point of contact for businesses, government departments, and private citizens for information or guidance on cybersecurity. And the UK has become more cyber resilient as a direct result of the creation of this agency. Before the release of the current strategy, the UK was really struggling to coordinate its cybersecurity efforts across all government departments. The creation of the NCSC has allowed for consolidation of various tasks into one central agency, and it's really hard to overstate how many projects the NCSC is currently involved in. The second positive from the UK's approach comes from its ability to secure the public sector, meaning government-controlled departments, agencies, and organizations. A large contributor to this has been the creation of an active cyber defense tool that's specifically available for public sector use. These products automate protection from high volume, low sophistication attacks, which really helps improve cyber resilience. This is because often when hackers succeed at penetrating into a network, it's because there was some element of human error involved. By automating protection from the most common types of cyber attacks, you remove that human error and reduce the potential for a cyber attack. Third, the UK government has done really well at promoting cybersecurity, science, and technology. The government's involved in various projects that it funds through that 1.9 billion fund. And just some prominent examples are, first, a government-funded cyber accelerator that takes in promising cybersecurity startups that address current gaps in the market. It gives them the resources and expertise they need to grow, and then they go on their own and graduate from the accelerator. Second, the UK government is involved with multiple research and development partnerships with private tech firms like Google and Microsoft, together with academia in the UK to push for cybersecurity innovation. Lastly, the UK government has certified certain UK universities as academic centers of excellence in cybersecurity research, which ensures that the quality of research for cybersecurity coming out of the UK remains at a high level and drives that innovation that the government is looking for. However, there are also some negatives to the UK's approach that could be learned, that could be a lesson. First one being, simply put, public awareness about cybersecurity in the UK is incredibly low. In my paper, I have detailed statistics about awareness of individual government programs, and disclaimer, they're all incredibly low. But on the whole, it's accurate to say that a large portion of UK society is not aware of the initiatives that the government is funding, much less cybersecurity in general. As seen in this poster here, as part of a government-sponsored cybersecurity awareness campaign called Cyber Aware, the UK government's messaging is neither informative, motivational, nor relatable. The government really does publish great advice, but it's not getting it out to its intended audience, which is the general public. The second, and in my opinion, largest shortcoming of the UK government is its inability to measure the impact or success of the programs that it financially invests in. At this point, the government has spent almost the entirety of the £1.9 billion budget, but has no idea whether the initiatives it invests in are actually impactful. It's nearly impossible to measure how many cyber attacks didn't occur as a result of government intervention. That being said, a framework needs to be there. The projects are all showing positive signs, and doing something is better than doing nothing to improve cybersecurity. But without actual metrics, the government has no idea which projects to invest in and which ones to discontinue in the future. Third, another shortcoming of the UK government is its inability to produce qualified cybersecurity personnel. Globally, there are 4 million unfilled cybersecurity positions, and in the UK specifically, 87% of CIOs and senior IT staff reported difficulty in recruiting cybersecurity professionals. This cybersecurity skills gap is really hitting the public sector especially hard because they simply get outcompeted on salary by the private sector, meaning qualified individuals would rather go work for private tech companies. The solutions the UK has in place right now are not sufficient, and if they do not address this issue, cyber resilience in the UK will suffer. Some key takeaways from this presentation and this project for me, first one being, building a national cybersecurity strategy is incredibly complicated. However, that being said, the UK really does set a strong example for other countries, mainly through something like the creation of the National Cybersecurity Center. That being said, there are still lessons to be learned from the UK's approach, and other countries looking to build their own cyber capabilities should be aware of where the UK failed. To finish off my presentation, I just wanted to express gratitude to a few people that really helped make my project become the way it was in the end. First of all, my advisor, Professor Schilda for all her advice and guidance. The next two bullet points here, the individuals are not present, but they helped me in one way or the other to get information for this paper. And lastly, a special thanks to BU Party School of Global Studies, as well as the Keeler Travel Grant, for giving the opportunity to go research something that I'm very passionate about without having to worry about the financial side. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.